After 4 weddings with the Sony FX30, I can confidently say that this camera is a solid option for wedding filmmakers looking for a quality yet affordable upgrade, or even a B camera to add to their gear list for the next wedding season. And some of you may be wondering if that's my opinion, why didn't I buy it? But before we dive into that, if you are new here, this channel is all about giving you the confidence to lean into a full-time career as a wedding filmmaker. So if you are into that sort of thing, it would mean so much if you consider liking and subscribing. So this video is going to be a little bit different than the traditional diving deeper into the functionality and limitations of the FX30. While there are some, ultimately, those aren't the main reasons. And I want this video to really just be an honest conversation about where I'm at in my business, how I go about making those informed decisions when it comes to purchasing new equipment, and really the driving force and why I'm being so patient about buying this camera. Reason number 1 is necessity. I haven't bought this camera yet simply because I don't need the FX30. One thing that I'm trying to get better at and I'm working on is my bad habit of being an impulse buyer.
Get it all. Grab everything that we've seen it on TV, put it in this cart right now.
Buying things because they are new, because they are exciting. And really, if I look at the big picture, the simple truth is I don't need it. Do I want it? Sure. Is it an awesome camera for the price point? Absolutely. But with my current gear list with the A7S III and the A7 IV, these two cameras are really serving me well. And I'm trying to learn from my past mistakes of overinvesting in gear so that when months come around where they're slower than usual, I don't put myself in a stressful situation. I don't put my family in an uncomfortable financial situation.
I had to. For us, for the family.
And I think by just honing in that discipline, I can really make those informed and strategic buying decisions when it comes to new gear. I definitely don't want to look back on my business and regret making a lot of purchases like I've done in the past, especially with the Canon C200. When it was first announced and released, I think it was 2018, I bought this camera brand spanking new for $8,000. And if you go to Adorama or B&H or somewhere that sells it used, you can actually buy this camera for less than $2,000, which just feels like it doesn't feel good. Let's just say that. Reason number 2 is the FX30 isn't an A cam. It's a B cam. And that might be a subjective stance on the FX30, but after using it for a while, I don't believe that it should be your main driver. While you can definitely get away with it and use it on a wedding day from start to finish, I think there are a few situational limitations that can make you rethink buying the FX30 as your main camera. First off, the FX30 beautifully shines on a wedding day. You've got crystal clean, sharp 4K image. You've got Cine EI, S-Log 3, all the functionality and ergonomics of the FX3, but without the incredible low light performance, which is to be expected because it is a smaller sensor, and that's totally fine. That's why it's priced the way it is, and that's awesome. For me, knowing that I have the A7S III, I have the A7 IV, do I really need a B camera? Do I need a C camera? Can I justify this purchase? Am I gonna use it enough to justify this purchase, or is it gonna be a one angle kind of camera, throw it back in the bag, and call it a day? And the other limitation is just the battery life. I know that the FX30 eats up and drains batteries like crazy, so I would have to consider other power supply options, maybe rigging it out with a V-mount if I wanted to use it at full speed all day, and that's just an extra investment that I have to consider, which I don't think is something that I want to do right now, but it is tempting for sure. I've definitely wrestled with building out an FX30 rig and just using that because I really did enjoy using this camera. I still do. I rent it from time to time. I'm just not pulling that trigger on buying it right now just because I keep going back to that idea of necessity. And I realize that I just have some incredible tools in my gear bag right now, and they're allowing me to tell stories and serve couples well. So if it's not really broken, don't try to fix it. But the last and probably the main reason of why I haven't bought the Sony FX30 yet is because I am waiting. I'm waiting for that wild card, that rabbit out of the hat, the camera that no one sees coming, the camera that is going to replace everything in my gear bag, similar to how when the FX3 was released, that replaced a lot of people's cameras. But for me, it's just like this one one little feature that I need before I can justify selling everything I own and reinvesting in just that camera. And honestly, that is built-in NDs. And I know some of you might be watching this and think, well, why does that really matter? You can have external options. Like, I feel like that's just nitpicky, and it is. That's just where I'm at. I was super spoiled with cameras like the C200, the C100 Mark II, the C70, cameras that have built-in NDs that just, I don't know what it is about built-in NDs, but they are game changers. I really anticipate Sony to just wow us with the FX3 Mark II or whatever they call it. I don't think the future really is 8K or 12-bit RAW or whatever it is, especially for weddings. I honestly think it's built-in NDs in these small, compact cinema cameras. But the reality is, I mean, new cameras are gonna come out every few months, and it's gonna be this endless cycle of any option that I choose now is gonna be overshadowed by something 6 months from now, and you're going to be inundated with all those videos of which camera to buy, which one's the best for 2023, 24, 25, and while I may be guilty of being a part of those videos, I think we're all just waiting for that perfect camera that has no limitations, that is not controversial like Canon typically likes to do with their cameras. Something that is affordable, that allows you to tell stories in a beautiful and powerful way. And honestly, because of just the past mistakes that I've made with over investing, I'm being patient, I'm waiting, I am using what I have because I have great quality tools that were expensive. And the need for something new right now really just isn't there unless it's something like the FX3 Mark II that comes with built-in NDs, and then I'm selling my house. And
why are you sitting on the ground?
This is where I live, little man.
But that has been my 3 reasons why I haven't bought the FX30 right now. Hopefully this video was helpful and valuable in some way. Or if it was just, one filmmaker's opinion, just blabbering about cameras and you enjoyed it, that's cool too. Let me know what you think about the Sony FX30. Did you buy it? Are you still considering it? Do you just not know what to even do with your life right now? Either way, I'd love to hear from you guys. So until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.